What's up, guys? Bulldog the Fell-Handed here, bringing you another amazing battle. Erlenburg, standard battle, road to the Moss, tier motherfucking 10, Moss. We finally made it. Hand in motherfucking hand, we are here. The heaviest tank ever made. 188 tons. Thank you, Germany. What are you gonna do? I mean, this thing is a fucking monster. Now, while I am getting in position, I will speak to you about the few weak spots on the Moss. The license plate in the front, weak spot. What I mean by license plate is you will notice there is a little square in the front. It's not rectangular. It doesn't look like a license plate. That's what it's called. It's called a license plate. The license plate is a notable weak spot. Also, massive weak spot are the cheeks of the turret. They're rounded. If you hit the cheek on the flat, you know, the pointiest end, the flat bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say, with a high penetrating round, you will pin the Moss. Other than that, the tank has incredible side turret armor, as well as it's being sloped. Incredible thickness of, thickness of armor on the side of the hull. It's just a massive, massive armored tank. Not easy to deal with. You want to run a spall liner on this thing because you will be getting artied the entire fucking game. What I run on here is a rammer, GLD, and a spall liner. And right now, side scraping in this tank is your friend. If you look at my tier 7 video, you will see a reverse side scrape in the Porsche Tiger. Same principle here. Side scraping, hoping I can get a shot in. Not a lot going on. This is a super slow tank. You know, you're not going to get more than 20 clicks out of this thing. You do the best you can. Okay. At the same time, you know, it doesn't have the tricky armor of the IS-7, which is angled. It's angled upon angled. Pike nose, angle's different. Depending on where you move the hull, the weak spots change. If you keep that tank moving, you're gonna, you may be okay. With this tank, the weak spots are pretty much going to be the same. You can't really move the turret that much. This tank got a turret rotation buff, I think 3 or 4 updates ago. It helps a little. It's just so fucking slow. It's slow to maneuver. It's slow to get in position. It's slow all around. You don't buy this tank because you want to get somewhere fast. You buy this tank because of its massive HP pool of 3,000 HP. This has the HP of, I don't know, half a dozen tier 4 or 5 tanks. Loads and loads of HP. 128 gun, 246 pin, 490 damage, that's average, is what it's got to work with. Hitler originally wanted to put a larger gun on. He said it looked like a child's toy. Yet they never got around to that. Originally in World War II, the Germans did tests on this tank, and they put Russian markings. They put the hammer and sickle on the side of this tank so that any spies would think it was a captured piece of Soviet hardware. The tank is impressive. In real life, it would have been unstoppable except for 2 things. Air raids, obviously, the boon of any tank, or excuse me, the bane of any tank, and of course, reliability. The Germans had a massive problem with reliability on all of their shit. They wanted these massive tanks, and they didn't have the engines to power them, so, you always had massive issues as far as reliability goes. Okay, so, moving on, not getting a whole lot of action here. And the bad thing is we can't really switch flanks or even reposition. Once you are in a given position in this tank, you will be there. You know, the reverse gear in this thing is not going to break any records, okay? But at this point, we've got guys across the little creek here, and I decided to go ahead and move up. If you've watched my previous videos, whenever you give an upside pussy, you want to turn your turret towards the direction where you're going to receive fire. That way, if they shoot at you, there is a chance the shot will disperse and hit your turret. Always, always, always a good idea if you have a solid fucking turret, which we do. So, keeping an eye on them, no one has yet to spot the 188-ton tank. A little bit odd if you ask me. What are you going to do? We're moving up to position right now. We're taking our time. The terrain resistance on this thing is abysmal. I mean, you know, it's 188 tons. It's not going to be nimble. There's nothing you can do about it, okay? You can get clutch braking, you can get off-road driving. The notices, or the difference, will be slightly noticeable. As you can see on the side of the tank, I've already taken numerous rounds, none of them doing any actual damage. Taking a little bit of arty fire, and this tank shrugs off a vast majority of damage here. It's an impressive tank if used properly. I am not the one to use this tank properly. I own it. I don't use it properly. I don't know enough about this tank to use it properly. You know, side scraping, city fighting, not in the open like we are now. That is the watchword for this tank, or excuse me, the watch phrase. So that's kind of what you want to do, is side scrape. If at all possible, go hold down, do what you have to do. It's a extremely tough tank that will come out on top in numerous situations, as long as you keep, you know, the autoloaders away from it. Have a Hondo here crossing in front of me, and at this point I think he is going to be over the hill and gone before I actually would get another shot. Doesn't seem true. I probably could have put a round in him and taken him out. Decide to go ahead and roll on this hearse instead. Go ahead and come around the corner here and put one in the hearse. Just a clutch shot right off the hip there from the commander's cupola. And, you know, backing up while we're reloading. You don't want to give anyone any shots that they haven't earned. You know, if he wants a shot at me, he's got to bring his ass around this corner where I have guys watching me. The Moss and the E100 are the battleships. Take a Jagdpanzer in the fucking side. That is totally my bad. When I looked at him, he was pulled back far enough. I guess he pulled up when I was fighting this hearse right here. Have another hearse just putting rounds in me from a distance. Not a lot's bouncing, so I'm in trouble right now. I'm down HP. Now, back to what I was talking about. The Moss and the E100 are the land battleships, okay? You want to have protection around these vehicles. You want to have, just like regular battleships, you want to have cruisers and destroyers and escorts. That's the lights, the mediums, and the other heavies. You need to protect this thing because a competent player will make the magic happen. There I am, hitting a Jagdpanzer E100 with my 3-finger Hefe ring. A hatchet will go through the turret of the Jag, as you have just witnessed. Standard round, not so much. You could probably pin the top hatch there, which I just did. But I am in health conservation mode. I'm in trouble. There's not a lot I've got going on. I'm kind of nervous right now. Want to go ahead and try to sneak another one into this hearse if I can get through with it. End up pulling the shot off on the hearse, taking the hearse out of action. Right now there is a Death Star rolling on my position. And he just kind of barely peeks right above. He's trying to go hold down. He's trying to put a round in me. And he just barely goes hold down. Hasn't even pulled the gun out yet. And I managed to squeeze one off into his turret. So don't let any shots pass you by in this tank. You need to take advantage of everything you've been given, which, is a good tactic for pretty much every tank you run. You need to take full advantage. You need to play to your strengths, not your weaknesses, the 128 is a good gun, more accurate than the 150, a little bit more penetration. So you know. Now at this time I started to realize I'm in trouble because the hearse is probably loaded by now. So I kind of, you know, want to use this hill to my advantage here. This little hump. But the hearse is coming for me, and he's, you know, there's nothing I can do. He comes around the corner. He either shoots my license plate, or high-X's me, or hits the cheeks of my turret. He does something. There was literally not much I could have done. The tank has too low of acceleration to do a proper rock back and forth. You just kind of lumber. You just kind of stumble back and forth. So right now, 2 TDs on their side, 1 TD, 1 heavy on our side. Anybody's game at this point. Of course, my game is over. And you know, you have some people who are just natural born heavy drivers. I used to run my E100 religiously. Used to run the tank non-stop, 4,000 plus games in the E100. Run that thing all the time. And then, you know, I just flipped a switch one day and I said, I need to start running mediums because mediums are the one that keeps fucking me over. So a heavy driver, a proper heavy driver, could have obviously made the magic happen. Not I. However, I did decent. I have a few kills and a few pins under my belt. Wasn't where I wanted it to be. Of course, is it ever? Do you ever do as much damage as you want? No, of course not. But, you know, we did cover our DCR, damage cause receive. We got at least 3,000. At least I think we did. At least that's what we're shooting for at 490 a shot on average. So, we did things. You know, was it the right things? No. I probably shouldn't have just charged up in there and took that side shot from the Jagdpanzer. Mistakes were made. Sometimes you just do the best you can. Not every game is going to be Shakespeare. That's what you need to understand. Not every game is going to be legendary. Not every game is going to be amazing. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. Sometimes you're the porn star and sometimes you're the fluffer. Okay? That is the easiest analogy I can lay down for you. Okay? Sometimes you're the porn star, sometimes you're the fluffer. Sometimes you're on the receiving end, sometimes you're on the giving end. That sums up World of Tanks to a T. There's nothing you can do sometimes, and then sometimes you get in there and everything you do is right. That, however, was not this particular situation. We did well, we didn't do amazing. And you know what? I will take 10 games of well over 1 amazing game. Consistency is what you need to strive for in this game, in this tank. Make it happen every time. And that's difficult because if the Reds go the opposite way, you're going to be chasing them. And we all know this tank doesn't chase very fast. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for viewing my Road to the Moss. Next, I'll do the E100 or Jag. Fuck, I don't know. I may even do the Leopard. Either way, Tristan Horner is the winner of the $10 Subway card. Tristan, please contact me at some point on Xbox Live with your proper address, and I will mail you the card. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Like my video. Share my shit. Post any requests below. And thank you again.